Hey guys, Eric with Blue Line Fishing. Welcome back to the channel. Your time is important to me as always. And what we're going to do in today's time is we're going to take a look at this Dobyns Fury series rod. This is a 7-foot casting rod. It's technique specific, according to them at least. We're going to see what it can do because we're going to put a reel on it after we take a close look at it. And we're going to take it out to the lake and see what this rod is all about. Stick with me. We're going to jump right into it. Okay, so this is the Dobyns Fury 7-foot casting rod. This particular one is a medium heavy fast action, and we're going to start kind of with the butt section of the rod here and work our way up, and we'll talk about the guide count and all kinds of good stuff. But let's start down here at the base of the rod first. The butt cap on it here is an EVA butt cap right here, that foam. It is a split grip design, and it goes into cork right here. So cork handle, EVA on the bottom. The reel seat on it is a Fuji reel seat, and it has a blank through design. Let's see that right there. What I mean by a blank through design, if you're not familiar with that, is the blank from the rod is actually exposed under the reel seat by the rod trigger right here. So when you lay your hand on it like that, your hand is physically exposed to the blank of the rod. I will not buy a casting rod, unless it has a blank through design. It's so much more sensitive. I don't care what rod you're talking about, what brand, but if it has that blank through design, that's the ones I'm looking for. Honestly, very few anymore don't have the blank through design. Used to, you would see a lot that didn't. Anymore, I think most manufacturers have gone to that, but it is something to look for when you're looking at casting rods. So you might be asking yourself, hey, what does this rod weigh? Because everybody wants a lighter rod, a stronger rod, but a lighter rod for sure. I always weigh rods, reels, anything else I'm doing reviews on, and I've got a lot of reviews on the channel if you want to check them out. I'll leave some links down in the description below, but I always weigh them myself because sometimes the manufacturers, what they state they weigh, it's just not accurate. This rod weighs 4.5 ounces. 4.5 ounces, so for a 7-foot medium heavy rod, that's pretty dang good. I mean, it's nice. It's a very lightweight rod for sure. So as we work up a little farther on the rod, you have the keeper that's right here, the lure keeper. I like the lure keeper positioned above the reel seat and above the handle. You'll see some, like for example, the Lew's brands or some of the Cast Kings, they put the keeper right down here on the split grip. I can't stand that. I think it's always getting in the way. I understand some guys like it depending on what kind of rigs they're fishing. It's more convenient. But for me, and it's just personal preference, I like to see that keeper a little farther up. As we go up the rod, and it is a 1-piece rod, obviously, I wouldn't buy a casting rod that's a 2-piece unless you just have to have it for transport purposes or space, things like that. But the 1-piece is so much more sensitive. And as we get into the rod here, we'll get into the guide count. So this rod has 10 guides on it. And if you watch any other review videos that I do, I'm real big on a high guide count for a rod. And that's for 2 reasons. Number one, I think when you have a higher guide count, you have more sensitivity with that rod because there's just more line in contact with the guides, therefore the rod blank. And also I think when you have more guides, it helps tame that line when it comes off the reel. That line has a tendency to want to spiral some, and when you have more guides, I think it calms it down, and what it does for you then is you get better casting distance. Okay guys, so the first 3 guides on this rod from the bottom up to the tip are double-footed guides. What I mean by that is they're attached in 2 places, and then as you go up the rest of the reel, the other guides going up are a single-foot design on that. They appear to be nice, sturdy guides. It's not a micro guide design. If that's what you're looking for, you might want to look at another rod. So this doesn't have the micro guides on it, but it looks like it has really nice guide assembly on it. And I'll tell you what we're going to do now that we've kind of talked about all the juicy stats on this and taken an up close look at it here inside. We're going to take it outside, going to put a reel on it, and we're going to take it to the lake and see what this rod can do. Okay guys, so here we are out at the lake now. Going to do some casting with this Dobyns Fury rod, see what you guys think. I have been out here for about a half hour, 45 minutes prior to the filming starting to kind of try it out and just see what I think with it, play around with it. And I'll tell you what, I really like the way it feels. But I'm going to do some casting with it and let you guys see what you think. If you're wondering what I put on it, this is a Shimano SLX XT reel that I put on there, and it's 12-pound P-line on here. It's a fluorocarbon coated line. And the lure we're starting with here is a Z-Man Evo Elite chatterbait with a
Oh, it's a new freeloader, Rapala freeloader trailer. So that's the setup right there, 3/8 of an ounce. So we're gonna see what 3/8 of an ounce can do here. First, we're gonna start with the sidearm throw. We're gonna see what kind of distance we got, and then I'll try and talk through the sensitivity. And you know, a chatterbait throws out a tremendous amount of thump. That's the whole deal with the bait. And we're gonna see what it feels like on this rod here. So that, as you can see, is way out there. Of course, it has a lot to do with the reel too, but as far as the distance goes with the rod, a lot of control with it. Like I said, I've been out here playing around with it for the better part of 30, 45 minutes, and really good control with it. As far as what I can feel every little nuance with this chatterbait as I get it closer to the bank here. Now we'll do an overhand cast, two-handed. And that right there is way out there as well. Really good distance on it, and I like I say, playing around with this rod, I've had really good control with it too. And like I said before, as I'm reeling this back, good sensitivity on it. I played around with a couple other lures on it, spinnerbait, which also has a lot of thump, and then I threw a jig, which, you know, that's something you want to be able to feel every little nuance of what you're bumping into over and through as you work the bait back. And the rod did a great job. The Dobyns did a great job with those baits as well. So if I didn't mention it before, the price point on this Dobyns rod here is about 130 bucks. I'm sure you can find it a little bit cheaper some places. Maybe it's a little bit more some places, but looking around about 130, I think, was the average. If anybody knows where you can get it a lot cheaper than that, please leave a comment down below and let me and everybody else know. My overall thoughts on the Dobyns, I really, really like this rod. I like to power fish. If you guys watch the channel, you know that. Throw baits like this, chatterbait, spinnerbait, lipless crankbaits, fast moving baits, and this is the perfect rod for it. This medium heavy and just the sensitivity it has, I think it has good control. It's got a good hand feel to it. So for 130 bucks, and I don't have any affiliation with Dobyns, but I think it's a heck of a rod, and I really like it, especially set up with a Shimano like this. It's been all that in a bag of chips. So that is the Dobyns rod here. If you got something out of today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I have a lot of other reviews on the channel as well. Rods, reels, lures, techniques, boats, you name it. So check out the library if you want to. I'll also leave some product discount codes down in the description for you, along with product links to this Dobyns Fury rod if you want to check it out a little bit more. Once again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And remember, until that next video, get out there and fish.